Hi kids, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. We're going to get straight into the story that we heard on Sunday about King Nebuchadnezzar. So let's watch.
Hi friends, it's me, Megan, and I'm Jessie. Megan, listen to the dream I had last night. Okay. I dreamed that I was swimming, but it wasn't water I was swimming in. It was a huge bowl of gravy. Wow, Jessie, that's a strange dream. Yeah, I woke up hungry for some cheesy blueberry mashed potatoes with gravy. Okay, well guess what? In today's Bible story, King Nebuchadnezzar had a strange dream too. King Nebuchadnezzar? What kind of name is that for a king? Did he invent cheddar cheese? Do I have him to thank for the cheese in my cheesy blueberry mashed potatoes? I love them. No, King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar. Closer, but no. King Nebuchadnezzar. You know what? I've got an idea. Why don't you keep practicing while we listen to the Bible story? Okay. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, shared a message about the wonderful things God had done for him. One night, the king had a scary dream. He asked the wise men in his kingdom to tell him what the dream meant, but the wise men did not know. So the king told Daniel about his dream. I saw a big, strong tree. Its top was in the sky, and everyone could see it. The tree had beautiful leaves and fruit, and animals lived in and around the tree. An angel came down from heaven and said, "Cut down the tree." Only the stump and roots would be left. Then the angel said something strange. The tree's mind would change from a human's mind into an animal's mind. He said this would happen so that people would know God is ruler over everyone, even kings. The dream made Daniel feel afraid too, and he told the king what it meant. "The tree is you. You are great and strong," Daniel said. Like the tree was cut down, you will go away from people. You will live with wild animals and eat grass. Like the stump was left in your ground, your kingdom will not be completely destroyed. It will be given back to you when you learn that God rules over everything. 1 year later, the king's dream came true. He walked on the roof of his palace and said, "My kingdom is great. I am powerful and wonderful." Suddenly, the king heard a voice from heaven. "King Nebuchadnezzar, you will go away from people. You will live with wild animals and eat grass until you learn that God rules over everything." Nebuchadnezzar went away from people. He ate grass like a cow. His hair grew long like eagle's feathers, and his nails grew sharp like birds' claws. After some time, the king looked up to the sky and praised God. He had learned that God rules over everything. His kingdom was given back to him, and the king worshipped God. Pride is thinking you are great. God showed the king that only God is truly great. Jesus is the King of Kings who came to earth and died on the cross. Jesus saves sinners so we can show others that He is greatest of all.
Pride is thinking that you are great. It is thinking too highly of yourself and what you are able to do. The Bible tells us that pride separates us from God. God hates pride. Psalm 10 verse 4 says, "In his pride the wicked does not seek him. In all his thoughts there is no room for God." If we think that we are great, then we start thinking that God isn't great and that we don't need God. That's what happened to King Nebuchadnezzar. He thought he was great, but God showed King Nebuchadnezzar that only he is great. The God we serve and the God that we love is the greatest of all. Scripture tells us that pride deceives us. Pride is a lie. It makes us think that we are more than we really are. God created us, and every good thing that we have or that we do comes from God. Every good quality that we have is merely a faint reflection of God and who He is. How then can we boast or brag about the things that we do? When we take credit for those things, we are robbing God of the praise and the honor that He deserves. The opposite of pride is humility, or being humble. Pride separates us from God, but humility draws us close to God. To be humble is to have the correct or the right view of yourself and of God. Being humble is not thinking that you are worthless or that you are not good at anything. You are wonderfully made by God, and God delights in us. So you need to remember that. Humility is just remembering that anything that comes from you ultimately has come from God, and to just always point back to Him. So if you do really well in a test and someone says, "Congratulations, you did so well," you can still say thank you, but you can then say that you thank God because He helped you to remember everything that you needed to know. Okay, so it can be really tricky, this whole pride on one hand and humility on the other hand, and we have to now try and keep the right balance and the right perspective to make sure that we don't get too proud and brag about the things that we do. Well, one way is to keep your eyes on Jesus. Jesus is the perfect example for us. Jesus was in His very nature God. He had the same power and He could have done anything, but He chose to come down to earth and be human like us. And more than that, to be our servant and to be a servant of those around Him. Even though He could have walked around all proud and bragged that He is God and He can do all these wonderful and miraculous things, He didn't do that. He stayed humble. He obeyed God no matter what. And Jesus knew God and He spent time with God. And those are things that we can do that'll help us to keep the right perspective as we go through life. But we need to remember that God hates pride and that it separates us from Him. Be confident in who you are and in who God created you to be. Remember that you are wonderfully made, and everything that you are able to do is because of the way God created you. So whenever someone compliments you, or whenever you've done a really good job at something, it's okay to feel good, but you need to also remember to always point back to God and to give God the credit for creating you. Well, that's it for today. If you know of some good ways and some good strategies to keep yourself in check and not to get too proud, why don't you share them? You can comment below in the video and then I'll send those out to everyone. And together we can start working at not being proud. And remember that we need to be humble and draw close to God. And always remember where we are in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes it's easy to feel like you wear the big boots in the house, or that you are better than your siblings, or you are better than your friends. But it's always important to remember that God created each one of us, and we are all wonderfully made, and we are all unique. There are some things that you might be good at that your friends or your siblings may not be good at. And you know what? That's okay. And our job is to not get proud about that fact, but to help and encourage those around us. So I hope you have a great day and a great rest of the week, and we will see you again. Bye.